Hey guys, good afternoon. We're going to do a quick pre-market look at some charts to get our feet back on the ground for some levels. Let's take a look at ES to start out with. I've changed the indicator from a daily to a 390 minute and a 450 minute. And the same fib levels that we always use to start out 25, 50, 75, and 1. This means 125%, 150%, 175%, and um, the 1 is actually a 2, so it would be 2 times the range, 200 times the range going from mean to 3. The 450 minute has a blue line for the last fib, and the 390 minute has a red line. And so you can see that when the sell-off came, the market flushed right down to the 390 minute. 390 minutes is 8:30 to 3 p.m. Okay, so they're just using, instead of a daily time frame. So if I were to put this on a daily time frame, I'll show you the difference. So just change it from 390 minute to day 1, and from 450 minutes to day 1. It's going to be the same. Let's put this on the open so they're not exactly the same. So you can see that it shifted a little wider. But when you change this to the minute for the RTH time period, do I have this right? No, this is the blue 450. So when you change it to the minute chart, you can see that it came right down to the level and bounced. That's where the hedge came in. And then when they broke it that first time, we can add another minute. And this time I'm going to use the 450 minute, but the bottom fib, I'm going to use a 3 instead of a 1, okay? And a 2.5. Here we go. Look at that. So they left the 450 minute and went to 2.5 times the range. That's the complete 8:30 to 4 p.m. And then 3 times the 3 full sigma went to the 450 minute range. So they were using both time frames, 390 minute and 450 minute. If I put this on the 390 minute, you can see it's off a little bit. it doesn't track. But when you use the second time frame, the 450, with that full 3 sigma reach, 2.5 and 3, it matches perfectly. So that's what they're hedging. They're using both dual time frames. They're using both the 390-minute and the 450-minute. I'm finding their algos. I mean, with Jats PT, I mean, it didn't take very long to figure out which exact time frame that they were using for their hedge. So it's like, um, put this in the playbook, and the next time we have a big event candle, um, flip over from the daily time frames that normally work and put this on 390, 250. In fact, I'm going to leave my charts on this uh, 290, 390 and 450 during the week and see how this tracks compared to the daily. And we might have found a better system. I was looking at it earlier with everyday trading. If I can undo this, and you can see that the daily, I think, works a little bit better on everyday trading, but it's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. I think the daily works real well intraday outside of big event risks. But when we get into these big tail situations, I definitely am going to put these minute charts back on um, instead of the daily, because I think that's what they're using. They're using minute charts to hedge instead of daily charts. So that's 391-minute candles, or 390-minute total, yeah, total minutes for the time session. They're using time. It's actually, the 390 or 450. It's actual time. So it's one time session that they're hedging. The full bar. So if you were to look at one full bar with that, we could change our bar size to that. So instead of a 5-minute candle, we could make it a 390-minute candle. All right. So definitely put that on your screen and definitely check it out. Okay. So for tonight, we want to take these off and look at one time frame only, and that is going to be the Globex time frame. Hang on for me 1 second. So come back over to your chart and undo the higher time frame value altogether and click on open, and we're going to do 1700 to 8:30. And I don't think we're getting the data feed in yet, so we're not seeing the levels. So that's not going to work. Interesting that the high on Friday went to the Globex range. I thought that I would get some bars. I guess we're not going to get the Globex bars until we get the market to open, so I can't show you this. So my apologies. All right, we'll just scratch this and go to a different time series. So we can come up with our PT2 indicator, click on use time ranges 1700 to 830. And we can get the oscillator. So we can see 27 points, 1950 and 975. So 65.52 plus 975, 65, 61.75. Oops. $19.50, 65, 71.50. And 27. Oh, it looks like it's going to hit that 27.6579. So that 65.79 is where I would be expecting to see an inflection to the downside. We can do it also to the downside. $65.25. $65.32.50. And the first one, $9.75, $65.42.25. All right, so $65.42.25. This would be your pivot, $65.42.25 and $65.61.75, $65.71.50, $65.79, $65.32.50, and $65.25. So those are your pivots for tonight. And anything outside of these lines would be very bullish or very bearish. And inside would be the normal range expected between 1700 and 8:30 a.m. Now, granted, we're in extraordinary ranges, but I mean, I'm definitely looking for, one if not both boundaries to be reached. I haven't Let's take a look at our option levels at Quick Strike and see what we can find around these levels. 65.79 is inside the ones at 32 delta. 65.75 is your 35 delta. So that definitely looks like it could be a inflection level. And to the upside, 65.7 to the downside at 65.32. Hang on. Up here would be also the 35 delta. So that, it's just remarkable that my 35 deltas are sitting there on my Globex 3s. It is pretty coincidental, eh? 35 deltas are pretty much a location where you would expect a market to get a given inflection. So 6,700 is the large put, and that's way up here. So that break of 65.79 would likely go to 6,700. To the downside, 65.25. It's sort of out in the middle of nowhere. 6,500 would be the location to go to if it broke. So really this, excuse me, large put is going to be like the matador in the ring with a red cape, and your bulls are going to be wanting to charge for that. See how the down volatility goes straight to the line. Volatility does not quite reach the 6,500 put. See how the put is below the volatility line? So much more probable that we'll reach the 6,700. So expect that break at 65.7980 at the 35 delta and then go. Sound like a plan to you? Bitcoin has not opened yet. We've gotten some, chatter on Twitter that a bunch of selling came in, and then one seller lost $250 million. So these are just insane whales, I guess, insiders or countries. Um, um, It's up to 115,214. Well, it says 115,214. I don't know what the futures are. The futures, I guess, are higher. So this is up today. So I guess, just like the cash market and the futures are different. So with SPX and ES. But it was nice to see the whale get their face ripped off. 225 million worth of crypto shorts liquidated in the past 2 hours, and that was posted 4 hours ago. So good to see. So we're going to get a little bit of a bounce in the market. Should be getting to look at that 6,700 would be my guess. So like anything else, be prepared with your risk. It's going to be, extra volatile. We're going to see what I'm saying. This normal range is going to get broken. The normal overnight Globex Sunday lazy trading range is going to get obliterated. So, but with Jats PT, you can come in here and get like a point range. So we can come in here and change this to a minute. So if you wanted to see what your 450-minute or your 390-minute time frame would look like. So 390 minutes are 14, 25, 28, 75, and 40. So if we were to come back and do our little arithmetic, $65, 52, add 40 points, that's 65.92. Okay. So you can see that we're going to be well outside the 6,700. That's how stretched the market got. 40 points to the downside. 65.12. And then let's do the 450 minutes. It's even lower, so it's less. So we'll use the 390 minutes. I wonder what my daily is. Okay, the daily is a little bit higher, 65. So we'll use the daily, 66.17. And change that to 64.87. 64.87. So we can come in here and be prepared for, the pre-market without getting the lines to print. When the market opens, we'll get our lines to print for that Globex, but market will have already been open and you needed the lines before the market opened. So that is our plan for the ES. Let's take a look at, you know, we don't have weekly bars yet. This is last week, but we do have monthly. Um, Let me change this back to ES. I've been playing around with these levels. So you see that we're inside the monthly range. 6614 is the monthly one. See right here, October. What we'd expect, since we've moved, that's the monthly one R ball. Monthly one H fall is even lower. But 6614, if they've moved their risk out from the monthly, that may come into play with our did we have one around 6614? Yeah, we did up here. 6617. So this 6617 is in confluence with that monthly 6614. So that might be a strong level blocking that 6700. Okay. There's your Bitcoin. You want it, and it is going up. So it did save itself once the dealers move the risk out. They don't want it to go back inside. They saved that on Friday. So I would say that 116,780 would be pretty good support again. That Friday close. So take a look at 6614, 6617 overnight is a pretty strong level. And hope y'all have a safe evening. Happy trading. It's going to be pretty wild, pretty volatile, so I'll let you get prepared. We've got 20 minutes before the market opens. I've got to get prepared myself. So make sure you subscribe to Quick Strike, Bantic software, and take a look at all of their analytics and get the Jats PT indicator with NinjaTrader. Or you can subscribe to the Substack, and we post option levels. We post all the market levels in the morning for ES&Q, crude, gold, SPX, VIX, Bitcoin, and then an option analysis for ES for morning reports. All right. Hope y'all have a good evening and nice trade day tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Thank you.